Cape Town, South Africa. Here, people are proud of their city, a major port, a fine tourist centre. But there's another different face to Cape Town, the most violent city in the Western world. These people commit violent crimes. There are thousands like them here, thousands who belong to street gangs, who call themselves gangsters. In 1979, there were 560 murders in Cape Town, 1,200 rapes, 8,400 robberies. Elsie's River, Cape Town, June 1980. Coloured children boycott the schools for better treatment. Black and coloured people stay away from work to commemorate the Soweto uprising. But it's the young gangsters who start a riot. They light the fires. They throw stones. Their aim? Confusion, so they can loot shops. But as a result, police intervene. 32 people die, hundreds are wounded. The gangsters' violence is not for political change, but for power and money. For this is a story about helplessness and poverty, about how the gangsters live and how people react. Reactions that touch the heart of conflict in South Africa today. This is the world of the young gangsters. They're movie heroes, living by violence and sex. They're models, rich, beautiful, often white. These are the films that shape their minds, influence how they grow. The school dropouts down on the streets see these movies many times. And as they grow, they come to admire the gangsters they know. Everywhere, Cape Town's coloured children play gang warfare with sticks and toy guns. As they grow, they join gangs, and they fight over territory, over the price of illicit goods, or just to see who's best. Street gangs are everywhere, over 200 of them. All have names, genuine schoolboys, the killers, the scorpions, the sexy players, the mongrels, and, most violent, the fluffies. For now, the gangsters fool around. They're killing time. A mock gang fight, a mock rape, that's for sure. This isn't. In the end, someone's stabbed. Then the shooting starts. 9mm pistols and sawn-off shotguns. Friday night at 8 p.m. Ambulances have already picked up over 30 assault victims. The hospital, there have been 2 victims dead on arrival. All night long, the ambulances will continue. They'll tour the neighborhood like buses.
Hey, what man?
And so Friday night goes on. By the time the weekend's over, there'll be 270 assault cases. 8 people will have died from stab wounds. For them all, this is the end of the road. The road that began 15 or 20 years earlier, here, where many of them were born. This is Cape Town's District 6. Thousands of coloured families used to live here. It was a home for slaves freed in the 19th century. It gave refuge to men and women on the run, to prostitutes and illegal liquor queens, to sailors who jumped ship, to children without parents. It was a living community in the streets. There people met. But then the government saw its commercial value. They wanted to rebuild it for whites only, so they declared it a white area. Then they evicted the coloureds to this. Cape Flats in the shadow of Table Mountain. Here just under 1 million coloured and black people now live. This is where most violent crime happens. There's no privacy, no space, but rows of flats on a sea of sand. People who live here call it a desert dumpling. But those tower blocks no longer have room, so now families evicted from District 6 have to come here. Mitchell's Plain, the government's new prestige housing development, again for coloureds only. Some own their houses, some are tenants. But they're all over 15 miles from their workplaces in Cape Town. The area looks clean, but residents call it an instant slum, a colouredstan, like the much-hated Bandustans, the black homelands. Gangs thrive here too. Now, in a recession-hit country, thousands of people can't afford the city council's minimum rent, a rent sometimes higher than back in District 6. So they come to transit camps, squatters, stuck here with little hope of leaving. They could live in the streets, but there police would arrest them as vagrants, so they stay in these places: Eureka Emergency Camp, Frygon Squatter Camp. There's not much room and there's no sanitation. Often the council threatens to bulldoze the shacks, but when camps have fallen, others have replaced them. Here nearly everyone lives below the poverty line. This is one face of apartheid: separate development, separate living areas. For it's housing that sets the environment where these men and women grow. All this is Cape Flats, the gangsters' territory. In an often helpless community, young people respect them for their force, their strength. What do gangs do? They steal. When they break into a house, they'll often take the TV, but more often they collect protection money. They organize liquor. They collect and sell stolen goods. They steal cars or move stolen cloth. Gang members say, when you're alone, you feel lonely and scared. When you move with the gang, you feel strong. So the genuine schoolboys cruise round their neighborhood. They call it Cowboy Town. But the major gangs aren't just wild youngsters. They have nationwide drug connections. They import mandrax from the Far East and ship marijuana to Europe. They have power to terrorize the housing developments. A few months ago, one gang besieged 2 apartments, fired shots, hacked down the doors with axes, and threw petrol bombs. Now, vigilante movements like this counter gang crime. On Friday nights, members gather round fires on street corners in a Mitchell's Plain neighborhood. They're all homeowners, patrolling the streets with whistles and torches. They say the police are powerless against the gangs. One member told us, "We came to Mitchell's Plain for a better life, and we're going to make damn sure we get it." So the vigilantes cruise the streets also, playing hide and seek with the gangsters who rob, molest and kill. They're searching for crimes.
Any crimes tonight?
Well, so far, all quiet.
I've got one.
Huh?
I've got one tonight.
What did you get?
With a knife.
Have you got the knife on you?
Yeah, yes. He's got the knife. But I think he's out. He's got one at home.
How are you driving that?
Vigilante pressure increases gang solidarity. It's tattoos that identify a gang member. At the 2 gyms, a customer receives the mark of his gang. Tattoos can be deadly traces. Not long ago, a gang stabbed an 11-year-old boy 28 times. They cut his throat. On his hand was the tattoo of a rival gang. For gangsters then, the gang is their life, like a family community with relatives and dependents. Members call each other brothers. They protect each other in time of trouble. They often have strict, agreed rules. And their life is more than just crime. In a Cape Flats apartment, these older gang members prepare costumes for their roving minstrel group, the Knickknacks. Costumes that express their own sensibility, their special culture. These men are just part of the strange blend of violence and community in Cape Town gangsterism. A boy called AP tells us more.
Last night, other chaps, you know, they come there around the corner, they hit me there with a pick steel and all, you see. Hey, it was horrible, man, you see. You know, hey. But while I was running, you see, they just hit me with a pick steel and what. So
Why were they fighting with you?
I don't know why they did fight with me. I just saw they come running to me, you see, and they just make me laugh and all and what.
Were they from another gang?
Yes, they were from another gang, yes. But I don't know the name of the gang and what.
Okay, what made you decide, or how did you become a gangster?
Oh, you know, I mean, I was very small, you see. My mother and my father, they threw me away and all. And so, okay, while the years and months passed by, you see, okay, I found myself in a stony place of sadness and madness, you see, where each dog was hustling for his own bone, you see. And okay, I made it through in all that years, you see. That's why I realized there's only one thing for me. It's to when I will survive, I must play dirty, you see. So I became a gangster.
In a quarry on the slopes of Table Mountain, a women's pistol club meeting. For gang violence now overspills into white areas. The whites feel under threat. And here's their traditional response to coloured and black violence. Violent incidents provoke fear among all Cape Town women and among all racial groups. But black and coloured women can only possess pistols under special conditions. It was fear of interracial violence that gave birth to clubs like this in the early 60s. Now ordinary white women accept they might use a gun.
And I myself, I can't talk for the others, I myself have been very glad that I learned to shoot because it's given me confidence, and a couple of times here on this range, outside this range, I have been threatened with assault, and I was glad that I had my loaded gun in my pocket, ready for firing if I had to.
Do you think most
Gangs are moving into white areas because that's where the money is. This is Isaac's home. He's a hobo from the Cape Mountains. He says he's no place to hide and address unknown. He showed us his bathroom, his kitchen, his bedroom. He lives in a hole in the ground. Isaac says gangs harass even him, and there's evidence police just don't interfere. They've been known to say, call us only when someone's
That's all
dead.
you have for protection, huh?
So Isaac carries a handgun and knife for protection.
And wherever we try to build a little, for the rain seasons and so forth, we get burned out, we get beaten up. We try to stay in the demolishing houses while the place renovated. Anything can happen. Bulldozer run over you, or the gangsters might come and knock you about there, just for the fun of it. So, if you haven't got any weapon to protect you, you've had it. Either your woman or your children get raped, or you get stabbed, or anything like that. So we are...
Friday, October 31st. It's payday. Commuters come home to Salt River Station on Cape Flats. Men like Isaac can't give the gangsters much, so pay packets are now their prime targets in coloured areas. Gangs sometimes control black sections of trains. Bus lines are knives, removing watches, taking money. Here, gangs stab people. They've even robbed children on their way to school. Yet just as the gangs mean more than criminal violence to their members, they're also more than just violent criminals to the coloured community. Here's an example.
Thank you very much.
Knickknacks prepare practice for their once-a-year carnival. They'll draw the children with them. They've smoked quite a bit of marijuana. The leader deals in it. Yet around them they spread genuine vitality and a release of energy. If black awareness has risen in recent years, maybe these groups express a growing solidarity among coloured people. Grassroots solidarity, as yet unorganised, diffuse. It's hard to remember. These men push drugs. They've been involved in theft and violent assault. No clouding reassures the white women. In the face of growing coloured awareness, they're now looking for added protection. Guard dogs in aged mode. Whites can use them more readily than pistols. Training sessions prepare them. This then is the pattern of conflict in Cape Town. Frightened whites train their guard dogs here. A few miles away, coloured gangs wander the dusty streets. They've nowhere else to go. Here, the genuine schoolboys
Leave it,
in a cake flat's backyard.
Make it all right.
Marijuana
Don't
and
put up
man
the you must talk, there's the mic. You mustn't talk on the cons, man.
Now
You must deal with the mic now.
iron it.
This is iron it.
Right. Now we mix it and
Now we mix the marijuana with the drug.
this is the white.
This
is the white.
The button. Did you cross it all? MX and all. Sure, MX got lamp.
So
No,
no,
MX or yeah. Outsider. Outsider. Original. Outsider. It's original, guys. Yes. And that's the marijuana.
Try to mix it and so what's and what?
No, where's the pipe? And all. Let's mix this in. Where's the pipe? Don't worry, that's the pipe. However, those that you have to heaven, not others, but this. Because we...
Whitey, puffy, whitey. Dapat zona langga.
But one arm.
You only got one in.
But it's the twins.
Whitey,
Pelam dog. White man.
Their names, AP, Whitey, Laney, Gums, and Pickle.
This is
Since this film was shot, courts have convicted them for housebreaking.
And here after are you ready to go? Are you ready? Oh, say. We stop it here. This is very ready.
Are you ready? Are you ready to go? Not the dark smoke.
But in his
They're
white
in prison
lamp.
now. They'll
Very
stay
white.
there
You
for
just
up to
keep
6
it.
years.
Keep it in his very white lamp.
Oh,
Critical voices in South Africa today cite the causes of gang violence, the reasons behind acts like the burning down of the cinema in District 6. They compare destruction like this to the destruction of whole communities by racial legislation. They say poverty and overcrowding are major factors in violent crime. They point to the effects of destitution, alcoholism. A survey of one coloured township found drinking was the only recreation for most residents.
You live in the
Lionel
bush now.
Peterson wanders the streets of District 6 through a dead and desolate community. He's drunk,
Why
without
not?
a home. The critics say disinherited people like Lionel are victims of the group
They take your
area.
house away.
That act was to eliminate racial conflict by forcing racial groups to live in separate areas. The result, it ripped apart communities like District 6. It evicted thousands of people like Lionel.
We're struggling with them. We're struggling. I'm hungry, sister.
This is what for none of these people can live where they choose. They've no way to fulfill their ambitions. They can only sing for a land where children are free.
Wat sien die bot nou?
Motown.
Motown, ja.
Should what?
Maak het jongens wat, maar maak hem klem.
Sta.
Smeer man.
Watch your.